everyone, this is Eli J. Brown / Eli J. Brony, and welcome to another classic Bionicle review. This is one that I had to wait until today to do because I needed to wait for a Bricklink order to arrive so I could finish Nuju's arm. I have no idea as to why I could not find the other arm piece for Nuju because I looked over all of the different sets and all of the different mocks I've had on my shelves, but couldn't find it anywhere. So I had to buy another one off of Bricklink. So, with that said, I'm now back to doing the classic reviews. Alright, so, starting off, we have the Turaga. Well, not starting off, because I already looked over the Toa at the start of this new series. But we are now looking over the Turaga, the elders of the island of Mata Nui, and 3 years from the time that we got these sets, we would also find out that they were originally the Toa Metru, and also the Toa Herdika, but we will talk about that at a later time. But for right now, we are looking over the original versions of these characters. These are the Turaga of Mata Nui, the former Toa Metru who sacrificed their power to awaken the Matoran on Mata Nui after they were put to sleep by the Makuta. Alright, so first, we're going to take a look at things that make all of these characters the same, and then we are going to be talking about what makes these characters different. Alright, so I'm going to use the comma here because he's the Turaga Fire, basically the de facto leader of this group, and he also was the leader of the Toa Metru when these guys were Toa. So, all of the Turaga here, they are built using different Technic pieces. I think that the only pieces that are new to, well, Technic LEGO sets in general, or the only pieces that are specific to the Turaga, at least at the time of the release, and also the only pieces that were new at the time of the release of these characters that were specific to these guys would probably be the masks. Of course, Vakama wears the Kanoi Huna, which is the same mask that is worn by Maku, the Gamatoran of the Mictoran series, which we will look over in the next episode. And she was the only Mictoran of that series to wear a different mask from her respective Toa. The other 5 all wore the same mask as their respective Toa. But anyway, they all have different masks as the Toa, and Vakama happens to be the one that wears the same mask that I first saw on Maku. The rest of them were all different. So it was quite interesting to see that there were more mask designs than the first 7 that I saw, the ones that were seen on the Mictoran and the Toa. And another thing that each of the Turaga have is that, well, each set includes 3 different headpieces. And this was something that I did not know about until I got the first of the Turaga sets, which in my case it was Vakama. And the thing here is that the feet are actually headpieces. You see, they're the eyes of the heads, right there. They're used as feet. Totally was not expecting that. And I could not tell that from the picture, and you can probably tell that I'm already gotten into the feature, where you hold the lever down, and the arm goes up, the staff arm goes up. And that's the case with all of them. None of them have a unique one. None of them have a unique feature. It's also flipping through. Okay, well, maybe not as much. I'm not sure if I'm using the right size rubber bands for this, but it's the best that I was able to get off of Bricklink, because these rubber bands are, well, they can pretty much break over time if they are used too much. So there are like 3 head pieces, 2 to be used for the feet and 1 to be used for the actual head. And another thing is that the heads happen to be the same color as the Turaga themselves, rather than the standard gray color that we got with the Toa. And also, another thing that makes the Turaga different from the Toa is that while the Toa's masks were all the primary colors of the color schemes, the Turaga's, however, are the secondary color. Although I kind of think that Vakama here is pretty much more orange with an accent of red, as opposed to Tahu, who is primarily red with an accent of orange. Pretty much on the Turaga, the only parts that I can see that are the same, the only parts that are the Toa's primary colors that are shown on the Turaga sets would be the feet, the headpiece, and the staff. And apologies if you can hear a phone in the background. I can hear it, but I don't know if any of you guys can hear it. But just in case you can hear it, I apologize for that. But if you can't hear it, then I apologize for confusing you and like, what is he talking about? I don't hear anything. So if you could hear it, I apologize. Alright, back to the characters themselves. The masks, they are the secondary color. Certainly something that I was not expecting, because I couldn't tell that from the images online where I first found these. And, well, they each carry a staff in one arm, and in the other arm, it's nothing. And as you've seen before, when you hold this down, this arm goes up. But this arm, it just wobbles. And the reason for that is because it uses a light gray pin, where it doesn't have a lot of friction. The Turaga here pretty much have the same functions with their left arms as Liwa does, since he also had a very wobbly arm, just like that. Alright, so I think I went over all of the things that make the Turaga sets the same. Now we are going to be talking about what makes them different. And I'm not just talking about the different masks and the different weapon pieces that they have, as well as also the different colors, but also how they are built. Every Turaga in this series is built differently. No 2 Turaga are alike. Whether that be looking exactly the same colors, same mask, same staff, but I mean, if you ignore the staff and the masks, no 2 are alike. All the same. And I'm going to tell you why that is. Well, first off, no 2 Turaga are the same height. You see, I have put all of these guys in a row from shortest to the tallest. Anwa is the tallest because he has the longest leg pieces, being in the 5 long size, and he also carries his staff is a hammer, though that doesn't affect his height though, and it doesn't affect any of their heights, but I will be going over the staffs that they have since they are unique. Nuju is the second tallest because he has the second longest legs, being the 4 long size, and he has 1 full-size bushing on each leg, and he also has slightly longer legs than most of the others do, because he uses different pieces for his arms, or at least for his hands, and he has an ice pick for his staff. Vakama, he has the standard length of legs, which is the same for all of them all around. He has a longer neck than the rest of them. And he also has a fire staff, since he is the Turaga of fire. Now, Kama is the 4th tallest, because, well, she has the same length of neck as most of the others do, and she has the same length of legs as most of the others, other than Nuju and Anawa, since their legs are longer, but she, however, has the longest arms, also being longer than Nuju. So, Nuju has the second longest arms, Nokama has the longest arms, and the other Turaga's arms are all the same length. So Nokama's difference is that her arms are the longest, but it doesn't affect how tall or short she is compared to the others. Matau comes 5th in the height department, and his head is actually connected slightly different, and that's the connection point is facing this way instead of up like the standard way, making him the second shortest of the series. And he carries a buzzsaw, and I think I forgot to mention that Nokama's is, I think it's a trident of some sort. I personally called it a fork when I was a kid, but I think it's properly identified as a trident. And then Whenua is the shortest of all. He's a very short guy. His staff is a drill, by the way. And the reason why he is short is because his head is actually connected to his chest, just like with Onua. And there is this Technic piece that is put in place of where his head would have been, so you can still use this feature, though I think it works out better here than it did with Fakama. So, pretty much Whenua is, I would probably say, the height of a Mictoran. I'm gonna quickly get out one of the Mictoran right here. I'll properly talk about him in the next episode. And, well, if you put these face to face, you can see exactly the same height. Look at that. Whenua, just you wait until 2003. You're gonna feel like a midget compared to the Mictoran. Alright, well that's about all that I have to say about the Turaga of Mata Nui. This was one of the very few times, in fact it was the only one of 2 times in which we would ever get any sets on Turaga. The only other time being with Turaga Duma and Nibok in 2004, but we'll talk about that set at a later time. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.